What's good, y'all? You dog back at it again in 2019. It's been a long while since I've done a comics lunacy. Probably since, what, last year? I want to say last year? I don't remember. Anyway, it's been a while. I got many to come. Many to come. There's many just completely ludicrous, ridiculous topics that I need to address in these videos. Along with other videos on the way. Trust me, I got plenty of stuff. But what was this one? You see the title. Non-power scalers. Non-power scalers. It's gonna be one of my funnest ones. Alright. One of my funnest videos ever to do because non-power scalers kill me. Now, see, here's the thing. Casual fans don't talk about power scaling. Not the casuals. The casuals are like some of the casual moviegoers, maybe seen a few animated series here. Old school like Superman or Spider-Man animated series, Batman animated series, Superman animated series, Justice League, more recent Justice League Unlimited, maybe some Batman Beyond, Static Shock, Young Justice, you know it. Right? You might have some of that. Those are the ones you don't deal with when it comes to power scaling. Also, a lot of in-depth people, you can have legitimate discussions. There's also legitimate power scalers. Now, there's different types of power scalers. You have your feat scalers. You know, people like Seth the Programmer, or Chuck the Cybercuck, guys like MJ from MJX TV and such. Right? You got your feat scalers. Then you have all these other. You have people like myself who use different, I guess, metrics. You know, I'm not feat and quantifiable. Those can help, but I don't so much rely on those for reasons that are easily debunkable. But I power scale in my own accord. Excuse me. Then you got these non-power scalers out here. Now, these non-power scalers make forth ridiculous things. Number one, they're hypocritical in their estimation of things. They'll bring up stats for one character they want to favor, and on the other side, they don't do that. They don't do their research. Perfect example. A lot of screw attacks, more recent years of their death battles. I stopped watching them. Back in the day, they used to be good. Starting with Superman versus Son Goku. The first time. They screwed up. And they didn't fix it the second time. No. Son Goku, we're not actually going to do any research. And we're going to come up with our own shit when it comes to Kal-El, Superman. So they made them both look bad. I'm a fan of both characters, as I've talked about in the past. How do you butcher two of the most established characters? How am I supposed to trust you if you can't even get two established characters right? Do a bit of research, ladies and gentlemen. Gain knowledge from other sources. Talk with people. Debate with people. Oh, that's another thing. They don't debate with people. They yell and they scream and they get mad when you bring up counterpoints. These non-power scalers. These non-power scalers, number three, don't actually be reading the comics in a lot of cases. See, oh, they're a fan. Dog. What are you talking about right now? They go to these forums, these versus forums, and they're like, well, this is where I pulled it from. Where do you ever see this ever said in the comic? On my Kratos versus Wonder Woman video that I did in response to Danco, I had some people, now trust me, it'll probably come up in other videos as well of comics lunacy of the nonsense I dealt with, but this is a perfect example. These non-power scalers, and look, no disrespect, I love people commenting in my comment section. I love debating, I love conversing, dialogue, going back and forth. Sometimes we may disagree, that's fine with me. I have no problems with that. I have a problem with when you tell me I don't know comics, when you're saying, well, is this an iteration? No. Listen to what I said. Listen to what I said. These non-power scalers are not, they don't use consistent power scaling. They use high-end feats and low-end feats. High feats, high ball, low ball. They don't do, when you power scale, power scaling is like elementary statistics, all right? You use what's called the mean, the average. What is the most consistent showings? If I'm going to use a character like the Incredible Hulk, Dr. Bruce Banner, I can't use his Gray Hulk feats if I'm talking about most Hulk, all right? Unless you specify a specific version, then we can be talking. That's why I always say, for example, a character like, and also with the Incredible Hulk, I can't use his World Breaker Hulk form as his normal Hulk state. Just can't. Unless you specify that form or that version of the character, all right? Superman Kal-El, a lot of times I ask people which version we're talking about here. Which version? Now, if I'm talking a comprehensive version, then that's different. And that's exactly what I was doing with Wonder Woman. They were saying, "Well, are you using New 52?" No. Wonder Woman consistently throughout the history. I had said, for example, I said something strength, talking physical strength. People equate strength to power. That's not the same. Oh, yes. What about her striking strength? What about it? I wasn't talking about that. Well, lifting strength doesn't matter in the feet. Lifting strength doesn't matter. Yes, you're not necessarily outlifting, but trying to tell me that any power scale, try to talk to any credible power scale and tell me strength doesn't matter. Try to tell me one. Superman wins a lot of his fights because he's stronger than him. What are we talking about right now, dog? What are we doing right now? Seriously, lifting strength does not matter. The Incredible Hulk is an absolute monster. Thors are monsters because they're strong as fuck. Like, what are we talking about right now? Yes, they have other attributes to them, but a lot of times you just looking like, yeah, Hulk's gonna beat this character. Someone like the Thing. He's gonna beat the Thing, Ben Grimm. Why? Because he's stronger. This is what it is. Now, if you bring in hacks and other powers and abilities and techniques, that's a whole different aim. But when a character is predominantly based on strength, Superman, Hulk, Thing, Colossus, what I'm supposed to do is just say, oh, that doesn't matter. Oh, how hard they punch. Here's nothing. You can't tell how hard they punch. It's very inconsistent. Don't get me striking, because characters, if we're talking Dragon Ball, they have what's called ki control. You have it to where characters can, for example, blow up a planet casually without. They've been doing that since the Saiyan Saga, all the way to where Lord Beerus, God of Destruction, who can erase a universe, can erase a universe, but he flicks Bowman with a slap, and he's a regular human woman. What am I supposed to do with that? You non-power scalers don't pay attention to the feats. Then the non-power scalers, I talk about how they bring in the high end and low end feats. They don't do the due diligence and research. And they don't actually listen to the arguments being proposed as to why. Then, a lot of times, these non-power scalers infect power scaling communities because they'll bring up, okay, well, this character can't beat this character. But then in another way, they'll go like, well, this character wins. You just contradicted yourself in a different fight. How is it? Well, did the set of skills somehow change now? But you just said this character beat this character. And I'm not saying it's ABC logic. But there's some rock, paper, scissors logic that sometimes need to go in. Fine. But don't say, for example, the Punisher Frank Castle defeats Batman Bruce Wayne, if that's your perspective, and then go and say, oh, well, Deadshot's a more accurate character, so Deadshot should win. That's not how this works. You say somehow, definitely Batman Bruce Wayne defeats Deadshot. Without question, he defeats Deadshot. And if you're going by that logic, and you're trying to tell me that, in your perspective, the Punisher takes down Batman, how on earth can you say the Punisher doesn't take down Deadshot as well? When Batman takes down Deadshot. And Batman doesn't use guns. You see what I'm saying? You have to be consistent. These non-power scalers don't know what they're talking about. They're cancerous. And they need to be purged from all discussion of power scaling. They do. If you run into a non-power scaler, don't even acknowledge, don't even address. And you don't know. Because some of these signs I've talked about in this video. And I did a few examples of the shit you just deal with. It's lunacy out here. It makes no sense. It goes against the very concepts of what's presented in the comments. Then one last thing. You'll have non-power scalers given abilities and powers either in one of three ways. Either they making shit up. It was never showcased ever in the comics. Number two, it was a one-off, one-time power-up, and they're going, see here, he can use this ability. No, he can't. It was like, for example, in Fairy Tail, all right? Natsu Drag Neo gets power-ups in the most recent thing with the 100-year quest, all right? He got a power-up that was not his own power from Igneal's son, all right? He got a power-up, a flame that can burn all flames. Otherwise, Igneal's son called him fodder to him, one-on-one. He got the power up. Now, you can't go and use that power up that Nacho himself does not have on the reg and say, well, see here, he's got this flame where he defeated this Dragon Lord. You have to know the caveats. And number 3, so we have them coming up with abilities, using one-off abilities, and them nerfing abilities. See, that didn't work at one character because that character had a freaking counter. Bleach did this all the time. Kubo, and unfortunately, shouldn't have been the last arc, but regardless, the 1,000-Year Blood War arc with the Quincy's. He had certain characters perfectly fighting another one. You could call it great writing in that regard. Other problems with the art, but you call that great writing. But they had the perfect counter. That's the thing. You can't use that as a general sense when someone has a perfect counter for you. Come on now, y'all. People need to do better out here. People need to do better. Unexpected one. Like, comment, subscribe. Please tell me your thoughts. Tell me some of your experiences with these non-power scales out there. I would love to hear it because we've all had them. We've all had them. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace.